Life doesn't always reward genius. Some names are celebrated forever, carved into history books. Others, just as brilliant, sometimes even more, are forgotten, ignored, or ridiculed. Nikola Tesla was one of those men, a visionary who gave light to the world, and yet died alone in the dark. Tesla was born in 1856 in a tiny village in modern-day Croatia. From the very beginning, he was unlike anyone else. He claimed he could see flashes of inspiration, machines and inventions appearing fully formed in his mind. While other kids played outside, Tesla dreamed of harnessing the hidden forces of nature. As he grew, his mind raced faster than the world around him. He went to study engineering and physics, but clashed with professors, always thinking ahead of his time. Eventually, he dropped out, without a degree, but with an imagination that could change history. And change it, he did. Tesla's dream was electricity, not just using it, but conquering it. In the late 1800s, the world was desperate for power, and two men stood at the center of that battle: Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. Edison was already famous. He believed in direct current, or DC power. Tesla, however, envisioned alternating current, or AC, a system that could transmit electricity across entire cities. Tesla arrived in America with almost nothing in his pocket, but a head full of ideas. At first, he worked for Edison, fixing machines and proving his brilliance. But when he suggested AC, Edison laughed, calling it dangerous and impractical. Their partnership broke. Tesla was alone again, jobless and broke, digging ditches just to eat. But Tesla never gave up. Soon, he found an ally, George Westinghouse, a businessman who believed in Tesla's vision. Together, they launched the famous War of Currents. Edison fought dirty, even staging public demonstrations where animals were electrocuted with AC to prove it was deadly. Newspapers called Tesla a madman, crowds laughed at him. And yet, in 1893, at the Chicago World's Fair, Tesla had his revenge. The entire fair was lit up by his AC system, a breathtaking spectacle that left the world stunned. For the first time in history, electricity illuminated a city on such a scale. Not long after, Tesla built the world's first hydroelectric power plant at Niagara Falls. His dream had come true. Electricity could flow across nations, powering homes, factories, and cities. He had changed the world. But here's the tragedy. Tesla was no businessman. While Edison made fortunes, Tesla gave away patents, trusted the wrong people, and abandoned projects too early. He cared about humanity, not money. And in a world driven by profit, that was his downfall. Even so, Tesla kept dreaming. He sketched wireless communication before radio existed. He imagined radar, drones, renewable energy, even something that looked like today's smartphones. He built giant towers he claimed could transmit electricity wirelessly, powering the entire globe without wires or limits. But no one believed him. Investors pulled out, governments ignored him, newspapers mocked him. Slowly, the man who had lit up the world slipped into poverty and isolation. Tesla spent his final years in New York, living in hotels he couldn't pay for, feeding pigeons in the park, and whispering of inventions that could change the world if only someone would listen. On January 7th, 1943, Nikola Tesla died, alone in his hotel room. No family, no money, no glory. The man who gave the world light passed away in darkness. But history didn't forget him, not forever. Today, Tesla is recognized as one of the greatest inventors who ever lived, the father of modern electricity, the prophet of wireless communication, the dreamer who saw the future long before anyone else did. Tesla's life is more than a story about science. It's a lesson about vision, sacrifice, and the cost of being ahead of your time. He reminds us that genius is rarely understood in its own age. It is lonely, it is painful, and sometimes it is forgotten. Yet his legacy still lives on. Every time we flip a switch, charge a phone, or see a city lit against the night sky, somewhere, Nikola Tesla's light is shining. He may have died in shadows, but his genius still powers the world. Tesla's story didn't end with his death. In fact, you could say it truly began afterwards. For decades after 1943, his name was buried under the fame of Edison, Marconi, and others. Schoolbooks mentioned him only briefly, if at all. But little by little, the world began to rediscover the man who had once been forgotten. Scientists, historians, and dreamers looked back at his notebooks, pages filled with wild sketches, impossible machines, and visions that seemed too fantastic to be real. Shockingly, many of those fantasies turned out to be blueprints for the future we live in today. Radio? Tesla demonstrated before Marconi did. Remote control? He built a robotic boat in 1898. Decades before drones became a reality. Wireless communication? He spoke of a world system of signals, a global network, long before the internet was even imagined. It was as if Tesla had been living a century ahead of everyone else. But then why was he forgotten? The truth is simple. Tesla lived in a world that rewarded money, patents, and power, not vision. He gave away too much, trusted too easily, and refused to play the ruthless game of business. In that sense, Tesla was both blessed and cursed. A man of genius trapped in a world not ready for him. And yet history has a strange way of correcting itself. By the late 20th century, Tesla's reputation began to rise again. Scientists praised him as the true father of modern electrical engineering. Writers called him the Wizard of the West. Movies, books, and documentaries began to tell his story. His image turned into a symbol of pure genius, untamed, uncompromised, and misunderstood. And then came a new age, an age where electricity powered everything, an age of wireless signals, satellites, and smartphones, an age where Tesla's dreams were no longer dreams, they were reality. So much so that one of the most groundbreaking companies of the 21st century, an electric car company, took his name, Tesla Inc. Today, millions around the world drive cars bearing his name, charging them with electricity he once fought to deliver. His vision lives not only in textbooks, but on highways, in homes, and in the sky above us. Nikola Tesla may have died in silence, but his legacy roars in every light bulb, every motor, and every wireless signal. His life reminds us that true visionaries may suffer, may be ridiculed, and may even die forgotten, but their ideas, once unleashed, can never be destroyed. Tesla was more than a man. He was proof that one person with nothing but imagination can change the world forever. And perhaps the greatest tribute we can pay him is to remember that the future we live in today was the world Nikola Tesla saw first.